We just watch Pro stream then. All right. Hello. Apologies for the technical difficulties that arise, but we are finally here now. Yes. We got, if I'm not mistaken, we have Choke 9 versus Clip That entry here for this first round of the play-ins. Do you call you? Still need to get some stuff figured out.
Yes, this goes here.
Yeah. I have Lore War with me. You can unmute in Discord. I just got to go ahead. Just you can close your video, Ninja.
Okay. All right. So.
Ooh. Well, we're gonna be starting off with a strong B hit, 29. A nice early pick coming out, but that crunch back into that B site gonna be a bit too much to handle as Smee finds herself alone in a 1v2. Has the wraparound, but with that spike down, gonna drone through mid. Not gonna catch anything, so they're gonna be worried about, hey, they might be coming through garage. Cyric already ready for it. Smee goes down, and that's the first round going to the side of Clip That entry.
It was a great B take, but then that just got crunched and crushed completely. We're seeing both teams coming out with like similar comps, but one team's running Clove, one team's running ISO. So we're seeing the Fnatic comp and just a pretty and Euro double controller. So
Revealing area.
It just looks to be some pretty standard stuff. So it's gonna be just looking to be a default on both sides here, with a bit of a stack towards outside of that A main for Choke 9.
Cage triggered.
I think we're probably just gonna be expecting a big stack here. You see that tripwire and Meg gonna be broken by Waffles. That does get the paranoia out, which definitely helps out a little bit, as it just seems to be a full retake over here on C, because you have that Sova already watching this long A angle. So you can just stack towards B and garage, keep control of all these places on the map, and just crunch this what is most likely going to end up being the C hit. Cyber's gonna look away at the worst moments, and they're gonna abuse that timing. Seeking Slayer is gonna be able to get the trade on the Waffles. This plant does go down,
but it's near impossible to reclaim.
Yeah, so despite that, 29 does have this flash. This is gonna sit perfectly into the smoke. Disaster may arise, but Anna Zero is going to be able to clean it up. It's gonna be a 1-on-2 for Smee. Spike not planted for her with nothing but a classic in hand. Could get another kill in the foray. So although they do convert that anti-eco, that is unbelievably costly.
That's not great. It's very shaky. Classics doing way more damage than they should have, and I'm sorry, I don't even know which team is which.
You have CTE on the attack, if I'm not mistaken, with Cloud9, on the defense.
Okay. Yeah, that's just pretty rough for Cloud9 there.
Yes,
Choke 9. Sorry.
This is a nice spot.
Yeah, going into this game as well, C9 have played Haven, if I'm not mistaken, 4 times, and have won every single one, albeit every single one of them being in very close fashion. The closest game was, or the most one-sided game was a 13-11 for this squad. So, although they have a 100% win rate on this map, it is far from the strongest, and a 0 looks to be a thorn in their side as all of a sudden it's a 3-on-5. 29 trying to TP back over towards long, full blind while trying to do so as this C site is just completely crunched. Smee and Kixty back to back trying to do their best, but it is not enough. And that is going to be the bonus round converted despite losing 4 players in the round prior.
Thrifty.
Yeah, despite the anti-eco looking rather rough for C9, they just went and insane and just absolutely incredible aiming out and great flank, and suddenly it was a 5v2, and there's only so much you can do.
This goes here.
And on the flip side of things, Clip That Entry has played Haven twice. 1-1 on it, the first time that they played it back on the 29th of April. They won 13-10. The second time was on the 11th of this month. And that finished 9, and they lost 9-13. So, not a whole lot to be played here, and that does give an audio cue. Seeking Slayer does have that cam out. Should know that there's 2 players here with that gun drop. So this A site is going to get overrun. This plant comes down. See what Anozero tries to do. Has a flash in hand.
Retake.
Gonna get scanned through that smoke is Anozero. But he's just gonna be able to double up off of that default position. Out comes the dimensional drift, and he's gonna be able to clear out all of this. Waffles is gonna fall. From the shadow, it's gonna be popped from Kixty, but it's just too little too late. No angles to be had, just gonna have to try and pray, and they're just gonna have to run out and save. It's gonna be a 4-0 start here for C9.
It's just, what a shot. It's just heroics out of Anozero there. Getting 2 kills that are realistically, there was like so little of a chance to even get, and just instant, no trades found, and that's the Euro. And it's just, how? What do you do there?
An interesting thing that I noticed, CTE still has a lot of money to work with. They still have a full buy round, but it's not looking too great for 29 as he's going to fall instantly out in front of C. Waffles and Candu is going to be able to give their team the advantage, though. So don't count him out just yet. Out comes the kill contract. Let's see if Kryek can find the kill. No, he cannot. So it's going to be a bit of a savior play here from Waffles, as it looks to be a save on the other side.
2v4, and it's just saved, and it's a great round to finally get on the board. It's like, after you lose that bonus round, you really need to get on the board either by the next round, or if you save, then round 4. You need to get on the board now, and otherwise C9 could really just run away with this. The ISO Euro can be fairly strong on attack with that double duelist, being able to just rip the site anchor off the site with a kill contract, and just...
It's a little bit dodgy, but they have the Hunter's Fury to confirm the round. There's no time for them to stick it, so they will still come out with the round, but a little bit more scary. They get 2 guns down, and they don't have a whole lot of money. They bought 3 rounds consecutively in a row. So I am curious to see how that economy is going to look like, as it is going to be another full buy round coming in with some big ults here. You have the Dimensional Drift, you have the Hunter's Fury on both ends.
Pneumatics is now 7-0 right now. Just
Yeah,
been an absolute thorn in their side this whole time,
Scanning ahead.
and if this performance keeps up, it could be absolute disaster.
I mean, well, it's not even just him. You see Kryek getting that
Everyone on
instant
C9
pick. That's another first blood for him.
Feels like
towards
everyone
that-
on C9 is just playing incredible right now.
Yeah, it really was that sort of heroic play. Craig, he's going to tuck himself into the corner. How many can he find? 29 going to creep forward. Gun barrel spotted. He's going to be able to find one. Can he find another? Not quite yet.
Paranoia.
No ammunition to work with.
Kryek
But he
finds
is
the
still going to be able to
cover.
find it.
Down mid. Last player standing.
And Smee's just spammed and a 0 to close. Pneumatics remains immortal. Still 7-0. Cannot die. And you just got on the board only to lose the next. The money's really bad. They're forcing into this anyway. But if they lose this, it's feeling like this half is done already if they lose this. Just,
I'll handle this.
if they lose this, it goes 6-0, it goes 6-1. Then,
Blood to spike.
considering they're on an eco after this, it would be 7-1. And it's just...
And it's there on Kryek. Just could be doing so much for their squads. He's going to push through the smoke and get a third. Waffles trying to do anything. He's on 4. It's just absolute decimation on the site.
Brutal. It feels like there's no way for CTE to even get off the starting point. Like, they can't really get the bomb down most of the time.
One thing that I've noticed, CTE, they're trying to go for a lot of these fast plays, as you have clearly seen. But on the side of C9, they're playing everything together. It's always two players doubled up with each other somewhere in the map. The only time where it would be the solo player is just Pneumatics just holding and watching that a long angle to where he can easily just back off and get to safety whenever he needs to. So they never really start out with a fair fight.
Oh my god.
As Anna Zero's just gonna do it himself. He's not gonna take that fair fight. He took it by himself, and he's still gonna come out with 2 anyway.
Even when we see these players on their own, they're just pulling out ridiculous plays every single time. They're not losing fights, and there's just nothing that can be done. It's just absolute decimation.
Yes.
It's like, there's only so much I can talk about. I'd like to see maybe CCTE slow it down a little bit, because they've been playing so, as you mentioned, they've been playing so fast, and I'd like to see them just slow it down, and try to work the map.
And it feels like a little bit of a lack of a communication in some parts, maybe, as they try to take a double swing in mid, and it just fails again. You know, the Brazilian scoreline is inevitable, and it looks like it's just going to continue to stack up, as Zero's going to be able to find Smee in mid again. All these bodies just hitting the deck instantly, a near flawless round out of them, and it's already 8-1. They try to speed it up again, try to double swing to try and catch some of these players off guard, and it doesn't matter because they just cannot win a gunfight. See, the eco is going to come through for the side of CTE, and I'm going to assume that they're going to try to play some of this slow. It looks like a stack towards garage, so we're not really going to be able to take a breather at that. Kryek got 2 players in front of him. Using that shorty. Gonna get the vulnerable off. Waffle's gonna swing through it and is gonna be able to find that kill. And a 0 stuck on site alongside Pneumatics, who's going to rip the Hunter's Fury, but the weaponry is not there. 29 is going to fall, and a 0 still sticking at the back of site, gonna be forced to use that dimensional drift just to stay alive as this plant comes down. But Anazera is gonna be able to take that space long. Smee, is she gonna be able to get caught out? No, but she is spotted. As the double swing from Garage is gonna go through, Kixty falls, and so does Smee. All down to Waffles 32. How much does he have in him? It's only gonna be 1. 9-1.
There's just nothing. It feels like there's no life in CTE.
I don't
It's just
think
been
they've won.
absolute domination.
I don't believe they've won a single first blood so far this half. As they're still gonna try to keep this foot on their foot on the gas. Faces pressed against these barriers. As his spike leans towards
They
A.
have to slow it down, I feel. They just have they've been playing fast, and they've been playing fast, and they've just been sprinting off the edge of a cliff into their own demise. You just have to slow it down. Maybe take a timeout or something.
29, he's just gonna TP out to the open, and that's another first blood lost. And Azera gonna try to take some space.
We saw last round that he can bleed, but but it's the 1 death total for Pneumatics, and
Last player standing. Spike
And they know that they're
down A.
trapped as well. You have Kryek on there for the contain, and it's 10-1. No timeouts even
10-1.
considered to be taken.
Last round before
10
the
and
switch.
1. Just we saw last round Pneumatic could bleed, but like it's just Pneumatics is playing incredible, and Azera is playing incredible. Kryek is playing incredible. Everyone on this roster on C9 is just playing incredible right now, and you just can't do anything if you're CTE.
Yeah, there's a lot of these aggressive plays where you have the where you have the 2 players pushing up, and then not only are they just winning every gunfight, ironically speaking, as Foray is going to lose that fight, and I think that's the first opening kill for CTE this map. Waffle's gonna sit inside that smoke, find a beautiful timing through it. It's gonna be so difficult for Anazera because they have no idea about Waffles that just pushed through. So it will be a 10-2 half, but it's a long, long way to go.
It's demands a pistol now out of CTE,
I need this.
and it's gonna be so hard facing that double duelist, and I guess if they can just save up the ults too, it's just really feels like it's a matter of time. Once the ults start coming online and everything just comes together, there's only so much you can do.
2 players on the side of CTE on Pie Watch as we go into this next half. In a game that already feels like it's over, but well, you play until that final round. 29 gonna go through doing a ranked play, and he's gonna be able to come out with 2 miraculously. Waffles with the support in mid to be able to keep that man advantage.
We're gonna need to be seeing these CTE players come online. Most of them have been so quiet, but now
Smee's just gonna get overrun, and she's gonna get taken down. So this is a 2-on-3, but with not a lot of info on where these players are. Foray gonna have to stick this plant, and you see Waffles Working all the way through with the flank kicks. He's just gonna spam him through the smoke. It's gonna be a 4A 1v3. Candu almost falls to give it into a 1v1 that would have been for the ace clutch, but unfortunately, luck is not really on his side, but rather on the side of 29. Just pushing through garage and getting 2 in T-spawn at the start of that round, something that should never be happening, is going to be able to clip that entry onto their 3rd round.
Yeah, but they need that now more than ever. They need 29 to come online. They need everyone to come online. Otherwise, this game is over.
Yeah, you can't expect them to be doing that every round, because eventually they'll just start playing defaults and they'll start picking off these aggressive players. As I think this looks like a force buy here for C9, which honestly I completely understand here, because you know that even if you lose this and your economy gets broken, you have such a strong lead already that it's not realistically, it's not going to matter, as his C-set's going to be overrun. 29 and Smee going to try to hold down the fort as best as they can. 29 is going to be able to get a kill and TP out, so this is going to be a 5-on-4 retake here. Blind going to be very strong to push him back. But the frags are going to be found. Waffles can't find anything. And now it's Smee in a 1v3. 2 players on definitely low HP. Just merely a sneeze would do them in. But Pneumatics finding the timing when Smee is caught reloading. And it is 11-3 here on map 1.
It's 11-3, but now they have to base. Now they've either got a force. It feels like they have to. Because can you really play for overtime when you're down this much? And it feels like the answer is no. Because they can just save up the ults, and no matter how many rounds you string together, if they have the Yor ult, the Iso ult, the Sova ult, if they have all of those together, how do you win that round?
Waffles is going to shoot that spike drop as he slowly walks down to see the top of his head, but now he's just completely stuck, and Pneumatics there to take the punish. This B site practically wide open as Smee can do nothing but fall off.
29 coming up behind, and he can't find
The
anything.
smoke in front B, the miscommunication. 29 had the perfect flank, but that smoke in front of the site just completely messed up his plan. Kicksting Candu sitting in the smoke. The shock dart's gonna be doing so much damage.
They're so low. And now it's just
Last player standing.
Smee and Seeking have passed each other through the smoke. Kixie is going to be able to get that consolation prize with that classic, but it is 12-3. It needs to be 9 consecutive rounds in a row for the side to clip that entry to even fathom a map win out of it. But from the looks of things right now, C9 should be realistically taking their map pick in
it looks like
dominating
an
fashion.
incredible map pick out of C9. It's been incredible from them at every step of the way. And they've got 2 ults online. CTE have none. They're 1 off the Yor roll, and we're seeing them get aggressive. Just aggression in mid. They're all the way up already. And I don't know
Killed their cipher.
Yeah, 29 just pushing all the way through. So Seeking is going to get caught a little bit, and now they know that C9 are just completely trapped here on A. They know it. Both squads know it. But despite that,
3v3.
Plant will go down.
Spike planted.
They know that they're pinched, though. This is such a difficult retake scenario. It's just going to have to be raw aim duels here. Smee is going to be able to get the clear. It's down to a 1v1. 29 versus 4A. This one for the map.
Cover going out.
Getting the one-way on top of the spike. That reload should be heard. No, it's not, but now he's spotted. Not planted for him exactly, but the tap comes through, calling his bluff as 4A knows. Just going to have to stick halfway through. knows that they're not on that spike, still holding for CT angle as the reposition comes through, and it is a 13-3 for our first map of the day.
Absolute dominance out of C9.
That was a map that their closest game, or excuse me, their most one-sided game was a 13-11, and that immediately turned into, well, now they just won 13-3 in a 24-minute map, one of the fastest that I've seen in a long time. As we will head over to the next map, which is Split, the pick of Clip That entry, and if needed, the decider will go to Ascent. Again, would have loved to have some overlay, some UI, but unfortunately with some random technical difficulties, unfortunately, that will not be the case. Hopefully we can get that fixed by tomorrow. But, I mean, not much to really write about there, as just perfect fights being taken from the side of C9. Just double stacking with each other a lot. I won't be surprised if we see that a little bit on Split as well, especially with the map, especially on a map like Split where mid contention is so heavy. You're going to be wanting taking that space. You're going to be wanting to taking some of those fights. You're going to be wanting to double up with people, and if they're going to be able to out aim them like they did on that Haven map, it should be a done deal. But I'm not sure if we're going to a break or not.
Back, Jace, all right.
Yap your ear off a little bit while I wait for Lorwar to get back.
When do you guys want to start map 2?
You have a 3-minute delay on the Twitch stream. C9 starting defense.
Yeah, I had to like go to the bathroom, get myself more water, and get a snack.
We are going to be going in here soon. Yep, that's fine.
What did you say?
I send this one as fast as possible. We are already a little bit behind on time, despite the fact that that first map was very, very fast. So, going to Split, a map that is not strong for C9 at all. They played it once, lost 3-13. Meanwhile, Clip That entry have played it thrice. Most recently, won 13-9, a loss 10-13, and a 13-11 win. So we are going to send this one on our way here in 30 seconds. Or what kind of water do you have with you?
What do you mean? Like the brand?
Yeah.
Poland Spring.
On screen. All right. All right.
What about you?
I'll be honest with you. I'm drinking a Pepsi. I'm
Fair
drinking a
enough.
Pepsi right now.
Fair enough.
Hello, welcome. Hello, Quad Sire. As we are going to this map of Split C9, looking to take the series in a 2-0 fashion. We are in Split. C9 on the right, clip that entry on the left. As Laura, do you see any interesting sort of picks here coming to it? I know that the split meta
Neon
has
Yoru
drastically shifted.
Vice Neon Yoru Vice is really interesting to me. Like, we're seeing both teams come out with the Vice Deadlock. Okay. Double Sentinel. I think I remember that being like one of the like general theories about like what could happen with the split meta, like relatively recently after like the Deadlock buffs, but like we ended up not really seeing that come to fruition. Like in VCT, we've seen a lot of like no Senti rather than double Senti. I feel like, which has been like a lot of the Tejo stuff. So, but now we're obviously playing in the patch with Tejo nerfs. So
Over there.
I'd expect to see a lot of like
Sound sensor up.
generally Fade. I'd still expect to see Yoru, like Fade, Breach, Yoru, even some Sky. Sky taking her place back on this map because Sky was still there prior to Tejo coming in and dominating on this map, but once Tejo showed up, it felt like Sky really had absolutely no place on this map. So
When you have the double duelist composition here, you're going to expect a lot of very aggressive fight as 29 is going to show front and center, just running solo into the B site, but that buys a lot of rotates out. However, that barrier mesh over towards A is going to be such a nuisance for the squad.
it's a strong informational device wall in mid, but
Seeking Slayer is going to be able to pick out Pixie as Waffles is able to get the trade. However, not a whole lot of HP to work with here. Waffles unaware of the possibility of Pneumatics sitting in pit. So just going to try to feel out the rest of this map. It is looking like it is just going to be an A hit,
They're
but
just
they are
dancing
not going to be
around
ready for
each
this.
other.
Pneumatics is going to be able to get. It's going to be caught off guard
he's
though.
he's
Waffles
caught
is going to fall.
Ow! How does he get the kill? Pneumatics had no idea,
Last
but it's
player
a
standing.
tragic win.
Spike down A.
Me left alone, a 1v3 with not. Time wasn't on her side, HP wasn't her side, positioning was not on her side.
There's no need for
As C9 is going to be able to take the pistol here on a map that, admittedly, they haven't played in a while, but the last time they did,
It didn't look
looked
good.
great. It was a very interesting play. I think there's still a bit of miscommunication
Listening.
here because you did see 29 just running in.
And just sprinting into his death with like little to no utility behind him.
Yeah, I think the plan there was initially to try to bait out some of these rotates, but he found himself already low on HP and getting spammed back. Cryx just going to try to do his best to hold onto this B side as the flood comes through. The weapons, however, not on the side of clip that entry. Cryx just going to lurk around the corner, and he's going to get 3 and a 4th on the round. Losing 2 players in the process, but a very nice 4K for Cryx that is going to be able to build up to those Seekers. Although, I mean, people always like to argue, how good are the Seekers really? I don't think they're very great, to be completely honest with you, but I mean, building up to an
I
ult
think that they're
is
good
building up to an ult.
informationally. I think that they're good.
Yeah, obviously, they're very good informationally in very specific situations, but they can be very strong in some situations.
Well, they can also mislead you if you do them poorly.
They can absolutely mislead you if you are not careful. As 29 is gonna run in, getting tagged by that outlaw
This feels like the third round in a row where 29 is basically sprinted to his death. It's just been that the Neon has not looked great.
Waffles not even going to be able to get a consolation prize. A beautiful anti-flash play from Seeking Slayer. Me going to creep in, able to get the trade. One of the few rifles in this round.
We'll catch them.
Well, I say in this round, but really just CTE is the one as a side with all those rifles and a zero. What are you able to do? It's going to be a 2-on-3 situation. And Speed's going to fall to that bulldog after the beautiful paranoia from Foray. Prowler going to push him back.
Bring them down.
Has the spike on his back, but how much realistically are you able to do? Because you have to find some of these picks because you know damn well that if you try to do anything here, you're just going to get crunched and get crunched. He will. It is going to be another 3-0 start here from the side of C9.
Last map, it just feels honestly like a repeat of last map where they're just getting rushed. Like, it feels like they can't actually break through. Even now that they're playing double duelist, it feels like they still can't break through, and they're just seems like they're just crumbling.
There's that grab net nade combo.
They're playing a little bit slower, but Cryik.
Yeah, there's this double duelist composition, and I think there's just sort of the thought in the heads of the players that on CTE that like, hey, I need to do something. I need to make a heroic play. But the fact is, you don't really have to be going for these plays exactly because they're losing so many of these fights that are putting them at such great disadvantages.
One enemy remaining.
As the Flood's just going to try to come through, but now it's just a 1v5 for Kixty.
He's
What are you able to do?
with a Sheriff 1v5.
Foray just having a little bit of fun with it.
Blind 53 gets a second.
Ooh, a beautiful shot, but
no,
not gonna be enough. But I mean, you gotta give credit where credit is due. That was probably one of the most sexiest shots I've seen in a long time.
It was a great shot.
It was a very, very great shot.
Okay, but
still gonna be a 4-0 lead here, though.
Launching thorns.
Yeah, if they lose this round is where it really matters. Because we saw last time they won this round but then lost the next and they couldn't find anything. If they lose this round, it could be even worse.
As you're gonna see the 5-man just sprinting out into this B site. Can 29 find the kill? Yes, he can. That's gonna rip open this B site. Plant should go down uncontested as 29 has found himself so deep into this spawn here.
I'm out of here.
Info going to be traded with each other, but he's going to back off, and that's going to give Anazero a decent amount of space. So the crunch play could happen here. 29 is going to fall. Seeking Slayer going to run out as that Visal's going to come out and jam so many players, but it's down to a 1v2. No real weapons in hand. Waffles going to sneak in, going to be able to find the first. Can he find the second? Sitting inside the smoke. He cannot find the final kill. Pneumatics
not
the
a round you
savior.
can afford to lose. Hannah Zero talking a little bit in chat. It's just that's not a round that you can afford to lose. He was just it just feels like there's no way for them to even just get off the starting point, just like last map. And
on top of this as well, imagine Seeking didn't chop his Vice Thorns on the site while Cryik was getting run down.
Oh.
So just imagine like if that little bit of extra communication is there, how strong that could be. That vice ball is going to go off Smee, stuck inside the smoke. They have absolutely no idea. Smoke's gonna fade, but so does the wall. 29 gonna be able to finally find an opening pick here. And Zero's gonna even out the numbers. Waffles, just 5 HP to his name. Those regen shields is to bring him back to 20 or to 30. Smee, she's gonna be cheering these rotates as well. Spots Foray, but the Foray didn't see her back. This is going to be the perfect timing for Smee. All CTE needs to do here is just survive.
Oh, but the Vice Ult
that Vice Ult's going to completely foil her plan. And now it's down to a 3-on-2. And now it's not planted for Smee at all.
It's done.
An absolute disaster.
Like, Smee had a perfect flank, but the Vice Ult. It's
a disaster, and one that's no fault of Smee there.
Yeah, like, had Smee been any faster, she would have been heard, and had Smee but any slower, and the spike's already diffused, so Smee had to have taken the timing that she did, and still got punished for it.
Yeah, Seeking just with that, it was just a perfect Rose Garden. Right now, he's gonna go all to spot the player and gonna try to go for it. He stuns both of them. It's both the enemy and himself, and ends up losing the 1v1. I know that one has to be a tilter. Seeking is gonna get traded.
Even stuns himself, so he can't slide. You can't neon slide while you're stunned, so it's just that's absolute disaster. It would have been better had he not used a stun at all.
Yeah, could have tried to hold on to the point, but not going to be so successful in doing so. It is a 3-on-3 here. Kixty gonna try to take out that ulting raise, and he will. And a Zero now, effectively wasting his ult as the final 2 remaining players. No HP to their names. I think it's a collective 20 between them both, and it is.
Oh.
Smee is gonna get taken out. Watch out now. Can't you? He's not gonna be able to do much. It's Kixty. He's smoked off. He's gonna have to do the impossible. 1v2 to 1v1.
And
it's so difficult, but he comes out on top regardless. The first round on the board for Clip That entry.
It just feels like when Clip That, like, even in the rounds that Clip That entry have been winning across this map and the last, it feels like they're so close. It doesn't build to much of anything, and if they lose this round, it'd be devastating. The economy's so tight, and this round would be a backbreaker, setting them back to 1900, and
I'm out of here. Gotta go.
they're playing a comp that really wants to do well on attack, and that's one first blood and second kill, and
Nothing there. Last player standing.
pneumatics
Spike
on
down
site.
Yeah, that just leaves Smee alone. He's not going to be able to see anyone. Blind, deaf, and spammed.
There's no money now. Waffles was at 1900. Flatly, just flat 1900. Waffles bought down to 0, and
Sound sensor up.
it just feels done now. Waffles,
I'm out of here.
like, there's no money anywhere. The only thing they've got to their name is 2 ults and a couple of flies in their wallet.
Gotta go.
Let's see what Syra can do here. This flood does come out. Syra's still in the backside. No one's gonna clear him, and he's gonna get the support that he needs. Ghostthorn's gonna come out. No team has weapons whatsoever, but it matters not. And Zero coming through after that ult pop with the gun of his own, being able to dodge it, swinging in to save the day, and it's 8-1.
That round where they just had no money after they won, that's just a backbreaker. It was already bad, and that round just makes it impossible there. Brazil was inevitable, and so was their death. Finally, we see them use the Yoru clone to trip the mid wall. Previously, they've just been sending people through it instead of burning the Yoru clone for it. And it's blind. Seeking Slayer gets another. The Neon ult's dead.
Hey, don't cut much as said. It's been even back down to a 2v2. However, both players on the side of C9 are still fully healthy. CTE, no info anywhere else as this ult goes all the way towards this A site. Plant will go down. What can Candu do here? Struggling a bit this map. Pneumatic's just sitting, waiting, and is so ready, but he turns at the worst moment! That's the kind of timing.
Could still win this. They're both
That's the kind of timing that breaks desks.
They're barely breathing.
What can Candu do here? He's gonna be able to find both.
A second round on the board for CTE, outdoing their first half performance of last map.
Launching thorns. Thank you. Rip
We
and
still
tear.
have one player on Pie Watch as we close into the end of this first half.
Oh, it's
29. He's been getting very, very aggressive. Let's see if he's going to be able to do something here and avoid that pie. He's going to get in close, but it's going to be the net nade combo, but he's going to be able to fly past it, but it doesn't matter. And Azero coming out with that showstopper. He's going to be able to find two.
Spike down A.
4-3 scenario here as Waffle just walks all the way through the B site, calling his team to come back, but they don't have the spike. It's walled off.
Seeking's behind them and they have no clue.
It's just timing on timing on timing. They know that the spike is still down and they're trapped with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Pixty fighting for his life, but all he's gonna find is one. And now they're aware of the timing.
Time to jump.
Smoke comes through. He's got a clone, 2 flashes. It's going to have to be the most absurd frags you will ever see. And he can't find squat. 9-2 as we go into the last round of the half.
It's just been absolutely brutal. It was a 10-2 half last map, and now I fear it could be the same.
Bring your best. No escape.
Kick Steve.
Listening.
My ult's ready.
Grabbing the orb. Your ult here. Cryik finds one.
I'm back.
Waffles finds the first.
One enemy remaining.
29 leaves Cryik in a 1v4. Spotted, and he's dead.
Face your fear. Switching sides. I'm out of here.
Well, it'll be a 9-3 half, and the definitely more difficult half of split is out of the way.
But they are playing double duelist, and
Yeah. So again, we
but
should
there
expect to see a lot of more aggressive plays. But
so it kind of
what's
balances
interesting
out.
here
It was both their better halves.
What's interesting here is that you're running double duelist, but then you don't run the breach to really help out those double duelists be able to do what they do. Candu is going to be able to get a little bit of info as I think 3 players shot at that haunt, and Azero going to be able to double satchel in. 29 stuffed an elbow, not going to even be able to find one. An unfortunate whiff out of him in a moment that he needed to hit.
Spike planted.
As that heal will come through. Pneumatic's trying to cross, but he's going to get punished for trying to do so. Candu walking down is going to be able to find Seeking. 3-on-3 scenario. Almost all players perfectly healthy before he's going to be able to catch Waffles walking out. Kixie with this ghost going to be able to find the trade on his own counterpart. Omen has a blind. Does he pop it around the corner? No! But they just double clear.
That's it.
They have no idea about Cryet. They just don't know about Cryet there in the corner, and it's a pistol round for out. It's a force buy, and it's just devastating.
And they have no choice but to force here. You're facing jumping down to that lower bracket.
Hunt. Scout destroyed.
The 10-3 scoreline is C9 realizing they have no info anywhere else on the map. They're gonna have to try to back up. They can't afford to run into a.
Cutting through.
Well, tactically speaking, they could with how much of a lead they have here, but they don't want to run into a stack. Smoke going down vents might be able to bait out a little bit of a rotate, but no, everyone's standing perfectly still. No one's even moving. Waffles is just staring at a wall. Oh, because he disconnected!
Oh no!
Time for that to happen!
Oh no! Oh,
Damage hasn't been dealt. Damage hasn't been dealt. I don't know what the ruling is on that, but no call has been made as he's going to fall.
No.
They fully check. Smee's going to get spotted. It's an absolute disaster. A meltdown in the server. The worst time for that to happen.
It couldn't have been any worse. Oh no.
Candu can't even get out of spawn. Now look at 29. He's walled off in heaven with nothing but a sheriff. He's going to be able to find Pneumatics trying to jump on top of those boxes outside of the B main, but
Bring them down.
it's still a 4-on-2 with no weapons to work with, still walled off.
Oh god.
Last player standing.
Gonna take a miracle. 30 HP to his name.
And no.
11 to
It couldn't
3
have
as
been
I
any
assume the defense
worse.
gonna come through.
It couldn't have been any worse.
Disaster. Disaster.
I don't know what the ruling is gonna be on that. Are we gonna see a round rollback maybe?
Well, I'm not the admin, so no one's pausing at 10, by the way. Guys,
Guys.
there we go.
Okay.
Also, to get a map update, the next game is going to we are going to be casting the loser of this match versus the loser of SR versus of Shroudify Rebellion and the Brawn Rangers. The first map went the way of the Brawn Rangers, 13-9 as they head over to Pearl, which just started. If you want to check that out, that is on Happy Cookie stream, where you have Firebug and Just an Intellect calling that one.
Go, go, go.
Brawn Rangers winning the first pistol of that match as well. So looking to be a good one over there. 13-9. Decently close game. That one was also on Haven, definitely a lot closer than the Haven map that we saw. We do see a lot of people diving by here, which is good to see. 60, the only player on the side of put that entry that's positive. Holding on to that judge. We'll see if he decides to hold on to that all the way through.
I mean, just Craig and Anazero have been absolutely ridiculous on both maps. Craig's was incredible on the ISO last map. Anazero was great on the Yoru. And now Anazero is playing great still on Duelist. And Craig's putting up similar numbers when he's on Initiator.
Yeah, again, I do genuinely think that it would have been better for them to have run the breach in this composition, because that breach, that fault line, yes, it did get nerfed a little bit, so it takes a little bit less than a quarter of a second longer to actually pop. But you can still get so much value out of that breach. Especially in a composition with these double duelists, where you can, just stun them into ramps, stun them into either of the two heavens, and be able to, because when you have that neon and the Yoru at the same time, you can get to places way faster. Yeah, you can get to places way faster than most other agents in the game.
Yeah. Like playing Neon, playing Yoru. I honestly probably would have preferred to see maybe a Viper and the Raze playing that Raze Yoru Fade double duelist, or even playing the classic double duelist Raze Jet.
Shopify Rebellion just bought a round 3 op after losing the first 2 rounds. It looks like that round 3 op is paying off pretty well. Is Shopify Rebellion is going to be able to take the round, go one round closer. It is now 1-2. Oh, the op hits the ground. Oh my goodness. They still win the round, but they lose 2 weapons in a 1v5 despite of it. Not far from the end of the world, because they should be able to get that op back, but I think one player's not going to really be able to fully buy. Yeah, one player can't fully buy now. What's the official ruling? With obviously we still have plenty of time.
Yeah, we do.
Plenty of time before it goes into needing to play like a 4-on-5 or something like that. I just don't remember the specific. We should have a decent amount of time before we realistically come close to that.
I'm wondering if we're gonna. Also, do we have any idea on what the ruling is about, like round rollback or anything like that?
Well, it's clear that CTE isn't really calling for it. I'm also not one of the admins, so I don't know. So
Fair enough.
I'm going to assume that, you know, the round started before he DC'd. And even though by the time he DC'd, no damage was dealt, you know, everyone got info on each other on what weapons and whatnot that they had. Braun Ranger is looking to take the lead a little bit further, back to a 2-round lead. It's 3-1 in favor of the Rangers. Cabin, can you tell our lovely observer Penguin to give us the turtle? We need some prime entertainment while we wait for this tech pause to
What, like Velvet Turtle?
finish. The turtle. You know the one.
Yeah, I know. But like Velvet Turtle. My style fits tighter than a girdle.
You and your persona nonsense. Persona the Phantom X is coming to Steam. I'm sure you heard.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think the people that were asking for it didn't really know what it was. That didn't know that it was just a gacha game.
No,
It was a Chinese exclusive gacha. Turtle! Oh, turtle! Let's go! Spikes. Fruit,
Check it out. I'm in the house like
fruit.
carpet.
Check it out. I'm in the house like carpet.
There's too many heads in my blunt. I won't spark it. I'll put it in my pocket and save it like rocket fuel. Everybody's gone and it's cool. And then I spark it up with my brother. If I'm gonna name him Mo, but I call him Mo Lover. He's more than a color, he's a quilt. I'm putting shit together like the house that John built on a hill. Just like Velvet Turtle. My style fits tighter than a girdle. If you don't need it, you can just leave it like Diva.
Just like Velvet Turtle.
Yes, he uses the word turtle like a comma.
Yeah, I think I think that's the funniest part about that track.
Mm-hmm.
Someone decided to start very loudly vacuuming upstairs. Apologies if that's coming through on my mic. I don't believe that it is, but just in case it is, apologies.
I hear it.
Braun Rangers, yeah, Braun Rangers take a 4-1 lead over Shadowfire Rebellion on map 2. It is there. It is the Braun Rangers map pick.
Like Chef Boyardee, my rhyme is truly cooking.
Urso, my goodness, 10-1, 5 rounds in on the fade.
What the fuck going on over there?
This delay isn't all bad. That just simply means since we have to, we need to wait for the SR TBR game to conclude before we go to the next one. So you know that gives them a little bit of time to catch back up. And with the way that the Braun Rangers are playing right now, it could be a 2-0. Could be a
Waffles lives.
Waffles lives. I almost made the full transition to pancakes already, but he lives. He moves! Welcome back, Waffles.
Is his mouse okay? Oh,
And now Smee, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up, folks. That is, well, I hopefully it's just like a crash and not like a full-on, you know, need a restart PC sort of issue. I definitely hope not. For everyone involved.
Absolute tech pause.
Smee gets 2 minutes because you took 20. uh. Her Discord's gone. Oh no, this is a PC crash, huh? Well, Braun Rangers up 5-1 over in
3 to
Omega
5
Earth
business
Force
days
Gold.
later. We're getting to this game within 3 to 5 business days. Tech pause.
Oh, hello.
Oh, we're
This is
visible. Wow.
yes, hello. Sorry, I looked kind of stupid on camera for a second. I didn't. I just didn't even bother to try and fix my hair. Oh my goodness! Hold on. Let me fix my hair. You
I
good?
think my
we're
camera's
good.
at an angle or whatever.
Yeah. This is the
Hello.
Braun Rangers Shadowfire Rebellion game, if I'm not mistaken. We will be casting the loser of this match versus the loser of our match, as it looks like Smee is finally back in. So a very brief pause. Unlucky timing.
A very, very brief moment of us being visible.
And it's a very aggressive play. 29 just spamming blind and death and hits a random player across the map. And I'm sure that one's got to be very, very frustrating to be on the receiving end of. However, this is still going to be a 4-on-4 situation here, as there's no one really in mid, so they have to worry about this mid space for so long, as those Seekers are going to be popped by Cryak. Hoping to rotate in. Pixie worried that they might have hurt that Judge.
Oh, but it's an empty site.
You have the Vice Wall out, though, so that will delay a lot of time.
Oh, and
Waffles, he just tried to take a solo swing with no teammates there to help him with worse weaponry. Foray gonna take out Smee.
Questionable decision making there out of Waffles. Tech pause fried his brain.
Last player standing.
Is it's gonna be a 1v3 with Kixty all alone.
Spotted by the dog. No idea about Foray.
Gun here.
I mean,
Match point.
we might have another 13-3 and another, well, I was gonna say a quick 2-0 sweep, but with the tech pause, might be a little bit longer than it could have been.
Flash placed.
Longest double 13-3 of my life.
Well, we didn't really have any tech pauses or timeouts really for that, for the first one. So
Yeah.
Waffle's gonna be able to find that opening pick. Kixty, no one checked him.
No one looked behind him, but he's not going to be able to
Oh.
find anything. And now it's a 4-on-2.
2v4. It's a 2v4.
Here.
There's no ults for anyone.
Spike planted. Last player.
1v4.
There's this left on.
29 against the world.
To avoid the double 13-3, and he's walled off of heaven, and he knows that he's making all the noise in the world, and he gets ran
Win.
down
This is
13-3 again. A double 13-3 for choke 9 to send CTE down to the lowers. Absolute decimation of a series. You can see the scoreboard there. This one took a little bit, almost 20 minutes longer to conclude. But, hello, Claude Sire. How are you? Hello, Claude Sire? He seems to be doing pretty good. Well, yeah, that's going to clip that entry down to the lower bracket. Still absolutely capable of qualifying for playoffs. Excuse me. As we now just wait for the conclusion of Shadowfire Rebellion and the Brawn Rangers. My camera is a little bit too. Oh. I almost damaged my monitor, but